Hey folks, it's Ray with Taste Radio. Right now, I am honored to be sitting down with Namik Soltan, the founder and CEO of GNGR Labs. Namik, great to see you.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're in your hood. We're in New York City here at BevNet Live, summer 2025. What part of the city are you based in?
Brooklyn.
You're in
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
New York. Yep.
What part of Brooklyn?
Shipstead Bay, South Brooklyn,
Okay.
by Coney Island.
Okay.
Where the hot dog contest happening every 4th of July. So that's
Yeah.
where nearby there. Yep.
Have you always lived there?
Huh?
Have you always lived there?
I used to live in the city before. Moved to Brooklyn in 2018. That's
Okay.
kind of like the start of the company, and been there since then. Yep.
So 2018 feels like it's not too long ago. It was 7 years ago.
Exactly.
But GNGR Labs has been doing some amazing things since, and I should be more objective, but I love your company. I love your shots. Every time I come to New York City, I see them all over the bodegas, and I can't wait to grab them. But what got you into it? What got you started? What got you really excited about the prospect of starting a juice shot company? And I know you sell more than juice shots, but we'll get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just kind of stepping back, 2018, that's where we had another beverage brand. It was shelf-stable, infused water brand that unfortunately we had to shut it down. Didn't work out. And in 2020, that's where we started Ginger Shot brand. Essentially, once we shut down the old business in 2019, had this idea, my mom recipe, for ginger lemon honey paste that I turned into ginger shot essentially. And it was summer 2019, and I had this idea. We always have cold and flu season, regardless of year. It's coming every single year. So, and we about to start the company, COVID happened. So it was kind of like was once in a lifetime opportunity, or it's the right product at the right time. And we launched in April 28th, and just right during the pandemic. And but main idea was that a lot of people trying to be more cautious when it comes to medication, especially when you have some sort of like a minor alignment. And the idea was that instead of taking NyQuil per se, you take ginger shot, helps you to with your cold, the flu, or stuff like that. So, and as we expand, we start adding different variation of shots and different like energy and digestion and vitamin C.
What was your strategy? What was your thought process when it came to not just creating the product, but going to market and getting off on the right foot? Because as you know, if you stumble at first, it's really hard to get back up.
Yeah, especially when it comes to shots, it's always a short shelf life. Yep. And when it comes to New York, if your product doesn't move fast enough and then expires, obviously stores are not going to buy it. And when we started, obviously we went out, we bought a bunch of other product and just kind of see what's good out there, what's not. And we just realized that most of the shots, they were very diluted. And I think like 2020 or 2019, that's still that era of wellness product, or those like, maybe you remember green juices, green shots, wellness shots, they were very mild. So our main idea was, let's create one of the spiciest ginger shot on the market. Then when people consume this product, they're like, okay, I'm paying $4 for something. Yeah. I want the shot to burn everything. All the bacteria that I have.
Yeah.
And I think that was our main idea. And obviously when we start selling this product and people, they try the product, they come back, buy more and more and more. And I think that's what became kind of like our signature line, that this shot, this is the real ginger shot, this is the shot, gives me that extra boost, extra spiciness. And I think that just keeping the high quality product, high quality ingredients, that really helped us to build this business throughout almost five years. Crazy to think about it. It's been 5 years, but slowly we build our reputation on the market, and New York market or New York stores, they unforgivable. If your product doesn't move fast enough, or it's not moving fast enough, right? They will just not buy your product.
Right.
And but I think we build a reputation on New York street market, and over last 5 years, there's so many brands launched and relaunched within the New York, and most of them, they failed. Obviously, some of the big brands, they still in the market, but I think that was kind of main point of differentiation for us.
Yeah, high quality is always a great differentiator. quality ingredients, people respect that. Typically, they'll pay a premium for it. But in the bodegas of New York City, as you mentioned, getting onto those shelves, getting into those cooler sets, what was your sales strategy? How did you talk to those owners to let them know not only are you selling a product that has a higher quality profile of ingredients than what's currently out there, but it also it's going to move? Because you can say all you want up and down the street that our product is better, our product is better. But what's going to motivate people to come in there and buy it, having not tried it for the first time? I mean, I know this product that I'm holding in my hand is amazing. I know it's much spicier. It has a much different profile than what we typically see on the market. But I wouldn't know that unless I tried it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to when we first launched, obviously, as I mentioned, we launched during COVID. And we launched as a self-distributor, like self-distributing our product across New York City. So we didn't go necessarily to the distributor right away. We literally packed my minivan with the ginger shots. I had the friends of ours who actually invested in our company. They became salespeople.
Oh, wow.
They never sold any product before. So yeah, I think the beauty and difficulty of New York market, because New York market, there's a lot of independent stores, a lot of independent accounts, and which is good and also not good, because you have 1,000 doors, you have to manage 1,000, it's almost like 1,000 relationships. And but in the same time, you don't have to submit to the buyer at somewhere in Texas and and you have to wait for a month, and sometimes years to get approved. Right, in New York, you literally go from store to store to store to offer your product, and then if they like your product, they will purchase it. And obviously, I think a few things help us. COVID, it was just really explosive era in terms of immunity beverages, so there was a lot of demand. Obviously, people were grabbing product faster, then they might not buy as much if there wasn't COVID, right? So that definitely helped. But then also having 3-4 people on the ground every single day, going out there, trying to push our product, offering free fills and whatnot. And I think that's really kind of helped us to get on the market. And then obviously we moved to the larger distributor. But I think like timing is also important, very important, right? Like probably now I wouldn't be able to convince my friends to sell ginger shots, right? It was just the perfect time and perfect situation to launch.
So the two words I keep hearing are timing and luck. But luck in particular when it comes to the people that work with you and your partners. But that's great for year one, maybe year two, especially, again, given the situation that you were in when you launched with COVID. Once you get to year 2.5, 3, how do you keep that momentum going? How do you make sure that you're not just maintaining the status quo, but that you're continuing to expand beyond New York and get more brand awareness and get more shots in people's hands?
Yeah, I think, I'm a true entrepreneur, right? I always have thousands of different ideas for products and whatnot. And I think what really helped to get the brand going, when we first started, we had one SKU for almost a year and a half, just one single shot.
Yep.
And as we started expanding, we just realized that, we have to adjust the packaging, we have to adjust the bottle. We had this little square bottle when we first started. And then obviously we wanted to add more and more SKUs, more and more product. But in the same time, we're trying to create a product that's not gonna just cannibalize another product. So there should be enough differentiation between products. So, you kind of dip into a new category, almost not the category, but kind of like a subcategory for the shots. And I think just adding new innovative product that really help us to continue to expand our business and continue doubling our business year over year. As we start expanding nationwide, right now we unify, we're in the central market, we a few other states also outside of New York City. And having our core product, obviously it's a main business, right? But just adding new innovative, trying something new and see what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. I think that's what really makes any beverage brand successful.
And you're also in one of my favorite retailers of all time, that's Wegmans.
Yeah.
Your national Wegmans, congratulations. Earlier this year, that was announced. How's that going, and how do you enhance that relationship with a key retailer like that?
Yeah, it's been amazing working with those guys. You know, on the beauty, it's a direct business, right? There's not many billbacks, which I love. When you get your check, it's just one check and without any billbacks.
Can we dive into that a little bit? Because billbacks and some of the added costs that are associated with the beverage industry and CPG in general is something that I think early stage entrepreneurs are not familiar with. Just if you could tell us what's the difference, and you don't have to mention any other retailers' names, but what you mean by they're a good partner to have because of things like that versus potentially some other retailers out there.
Of course. So, for example, when you work with distributor, it's almost like a third party or the additional hump that you have to go over, right, in order to get your product to the retail. So they take their 30% margins, and then obviously as you go into promotion, you do different discounts to the retailer. So your product goes on promotion. You have to absorb all that, right? And then when it comes to New York independent, obviously you create different incentives for the stores, for salespeople, in order to move your product or sell more product, right? Obviously, you would have to absorb that. When it comes to New York, for I would say like a mid-sized beverage brand, you have to spend anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a year on a billbacks alone, and it's not something very exaggerated in a way,
Well,
right?
that's just in New York City?
Just in New York City.
And that's because, again, for free fill or?
Free fills, incentives, billbacks from different retail accounts, like a small chains.
Wow.
And when it comes to Wegmans, for example, they have one price. So it's a EDLP. It's a one price across the whole year. So you don't really run any promotions. And they have everyday low cost, technically. So when it comes to that, you negotiate price once, you send it to distributor, they deliver, they pay you. So this is our first ever account that we don't get any billbacks.
Okay.
Which is very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, you want to keep that relationship great. You want to make sure that they're benefiting, as in Wegmans, as much as you're benefiting. But I've seen the one that's local to me, a lot of the juice shots are, they're near like I want to call it the medicine aisle in the store, and sometimes they're kind of away from where you would expect them to be with some of the other juices and fresh fruits and things like that. So in that case, yes, it's still great to be in the store, but how do you move product? How do you move product? Maybe not as much as you do in New York City, it's at a local bodega, but how do you make sure that customers are aware of where it is and pulling it off shelf?
Right, so again, I guess one thing about Wegmans, that's you get that benefit of not getting a lot of billbacks, but at the same time, there's not a lot of things you can do in terms of you can go to your store, do a little merchandising, but you cannot do anything more than that, right? And but with other retailer, obviously merchandising, it's one of the most important thing. Especially even here in New York, right? Because when your product sells, sometimes your product could be in the back. It might not have enough facing. So I think just having merchandising, it's gonna increase your sales 30 to 40%, right? And just having that, having team on the ground who constantly going back into the retail, merchandising, make sure all the sales materials placed, and obviously going on sale, right? You do 2 for $6, 2 for $5, whatever promotion you have. Those things definitely help to increase your sales and especially get the new customers try your product.
Yeah, we've been talking about your shots for the entire time, pretty much. But you also have ready-to-drink products as well, or larger format canned products that still have your key ingredients in them. Initially, the one I recall is the one that came in a wider bodied can. It was your ginger lemonade and with spelled lemon AID,
correct,
and a vitamin C product as well. I don't think those are still on the market, or if I'm not correct.
Yes, so we had those two products. That was a first launch. What we have done, this year we redeveloped those cans.
Yep.
So unfortunately we don't have vitamin C here, but we just launched 2 SKUs Vitamin C it should be somewhere on the floor also. And it comes in more sleek format, as you can see here. We just decided to keep the same design across all our product portfolio,
Yep.
just having this wide drop and
The vertical
exactly,
logo as
yeah.
opposed to what were on the previous cans, which was
Correct,
horizontal.
correct. And just also there's a few other reasons why we decided to move into sleek cans, just from the retail. So for example, 7-Eleven, they do not carry any small format, those like a small, kind of like a Coca-Cola cans, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just they just don't carry them, and there's a few other channels as well. They don't work with a small, so either has to be 16-ounce big can, or has to be sleeve. So that's another reason we decided to move back into this new format, and we just released 2 SKUs. So vitamin C, it's an orange immunity beverage, and this is our new can, which is energy.
You're doing well with the 2 shots, though. So I understand why the cans and these drinks might open up new channels, new opportunities for you, but it could also be a distraction for what you're doing. How do you walk that line? How do you navigate, the potential for innovation that can help grow the company versus perhaps be a distraction or weigh you down from your primary product, which are these juice shots?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, since we already know New York market, we know how to navigate New York market, and we luckily we have a great partner distributor, Dora Naturals, which
Sure.
they were very patient with us with our product. They help us launch some of the products, take them off the market, and I think just having that ability to get the product quick on the market, test it and see if it works, if it doesn't work, allow us to actually test some of the product. Obviously, with the new cans, we're not going to Walmart right away, right? We're not going to Whole Foods right away. We trying to get this product on the streets. We do have a brand presence, and we think this can, help us to continue to expand our business. I'm as an entrepreneur, I look at things from like 5 to 10 years in advance, and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen in 5 years? So I think we want to plant some seeds today, so tomorrow we can have a product that's already ready to scale.
Well, how did you apply the learnings from the previous iteration of the cans to these new products? I know you talked briefly about it in terms of the package design, but what did you learn from how customers perceived the old products and incorporated those learnings into the new cans?
Yeah, obviously, when we first started doing cans, it was completely new territory for me. And when it comes to shots, it's easy to formulate. When it comes to cans, it's a shelf-stable product. It's really hard to get the right formula, and especially when it comes to energy, right? There's sugar, there's no sugar, there's a sucralose, there's natural flavors. So, and then when you start adding all these ingredients, you drink your product, it doesn't taste great, right? So to formulate the product that tastes great, has a great benefits, and it looks great too, right? It's not easy. So, and I think when we first started, obviously, I learned a lot how to develop formulas for the cans, and I think this time we were able to actually deliver a product that tastes amazing, has a great benefits to it. It's clean. There's nothing artificial in this particular product or any other our product. So I think that was kind of the main lesson that I learned in terms of product formula. And I was able to add or remove things that not necessarily were good. And so that was kind of my main lesson.
How do you know you have an audience for these products? And how can you best reach that audience via merchandising?
So the way we look at the RTDs, it's more as an extension of the brand, right? When it comes to shots, obviously there is a lot of limitation when you can sell this product. It's a refrigerated product, it's small, and you might not be able to reach same consumers, right? That they might be at the office. Unfortunately, office, they won't carry shots, or they might be in a hospital, or they might be in the gas stations, right? So the way we think about this product, it's more as an extension, or for example, let's say gas stations, right? That's middle of Texas, for example, right? Obviously, it's going to be extremely hard to get the ginger shots in there, but they can use benefits of ginger in a different format.
Right.
So even just looking at the New York City, for example, Obviously, we have close to 2,000 doors here, but there is 25,000 doors, right? And then there is some stores that would never carry ginger shots. So we see
Yeah.
that as a opportunity to expand our brand and just have more doors.
What's been the most challenging part of this journey? And let's just talk about the last 5 years when you launched the shots. What have you felt like you would have benefited from knowing prior to these last 5 years? I mean, you have a ton of experience now, but is there anything where you can say now, we could have saved ourselves a lot of time, headache, and money if we had just done this?
Well, to be honest, I feel like like for the past 5 years, every year it was kind of like we unlock a new level, and it almost feels like we play in the game that we never lost the level. You know, we went from one level to second, third, and fifth level, and obviously there's lessons that we shouldn't work with some people. You know, some of the brokers, for example, that we kind of wasted time there. But it's just one of those things that you never know, right? You have to try things, and sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not going to work. Um, but luckily, we just had everything was going very smooth. We got our seed round investment right on time when we needed, and that gave us a little cushion to kind of really push forward. And but luckily, things kind of been happening organically on our end. Obviously, we want to expand faster than we can, but that also comes with, you have to spend more. You have to spend more. You have to hire more people, and which is also opens you up to more exposure, more risk.
Looking back, were there any red flags that might have been associated with the broker that didn't work out that you could have said, hey, we should watch out for these guys because of a red flag? I mean, the red flags that you identified after the fact.
Well, I think it's more of, like I said, it's probably very hard to tell because obviously when you're interviewing people at the beginning, they all kind of like, how
Yeah.
they tell you that what they can do, but it's just one of those things you never know, right? So I have learned something that if that you see 3 months, 4 months, nothing happening, just you gotta move on faster, and obviously that's very expensive. You know, those contracts they come with $20,000-$30,000 termination fees, so
Yeah.
which sometimes you have to take a risk. And beverage business, it's all about the risk. It's all about taking the risk and see what's gonna work, what's not gonna work.
Taking the risk, but also mitigating that risk, making sure you're not taking too many big leaps, that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. How do you think about sort of managing risk as it relates to this industry?
Yeah, I think when it comes to employees, right, or just hiring people, I think that's the biggest issue for anyone. It's not just us, right? Just to find the right person and to find the right person that's affordable, it's extremely difficult, right? Because sometimes you think it's the right person, you can hire the person, but then you won't see results as well. So for us, we've been very patient in terms of hiring more and more people. We rely on ourselves in some way, and then we work with some of the consultant or third-party people, and that's really helped us to really have less pressure on our balance sheet, and just kind of we see the way I run the business. If we have upcoming purchase order, or we see, okay, this is chain coming through, we gonna generate extra $50,000 a month, so now it's time to hire people. So I never went ahead and tried to hire a lot of people right in advance, which I know a lot of people do, and they get excited about the product. To me, it's more like, okay, let's test the ground first before we make a move.
Yeah. I think also what I know from you, Namik, is that you work a lot. You're a hard worker. I don't know if you're working 24/7, but it might seem like that. Is that really important? I mean, do beverage entrepreneurs and CPG professionals need to know that this is a business where you have to work?
Yeah, I mean, for the last 5 years, actually, for the almost 4 years, I had no vacation. So I took my first vacation last year, July.
Oh.
So that was my first, I think, well-deserved vacation. And but to me, it's also I do enjoy what I do. You know, I do enjoy beverages. I do enjoy creating new things. Obviously, there's a lot of things I have to do that I do not enjoy. But I think for me, it's more like I work all the time. You know, we come to the office at 9, leave at 8 sometimes at 10. Sometimes I can leave at 3 p.m., you know?
Yeah.
So obviously you really have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, it's just gonna feel like a job, right? But if you enjoy what you do and you can spend 14 hours at the office doing something and it doesn't feel like a work. So, and for us, we did a lot of things ourselves, including packaging and design and all that stuff. We saved so much money on that, but obviously not everyone can do that. But yeah, I think when you start a beverage brand, you should expect anywhere from 5 to 10 years to really, work really hard and don't see a lot of income or don't see a lot of vacations. But that's the only way. There's no magic bullet. There's no magic formula that you create a product and all of a sudden it's going to be everywhere and it's going to sell like crazy. You really have to put some work and effort and sacrifice to make something work.
Well, I know how busy you are, and I really appreciate you coming out to sit down with me today. I love GNGR Labs. In our office, we are fiends for GNGR Labs. Anytime a shot comes into the office, there's a fight, there's a brawl because people want to get it and they want to stash it because you make an extremely high quality product. Congratulations on everything. I'm excited to see how the next 5 years unfolds, and I'm expecting to see some amazing things to happen with you and your company.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.